Today I'm excited to be unboxing and to give you my first impressions of the brand new Samsung Galaxy S24. We're going to take a look and see what's included in the box, talk about what's new, and also do a brief side-by-side comparison to last year's Galaxy S23. So without further ado, let's get started. Alright, so I'm really excited to dig into this. You can see I have quite a lot of products on the table, and that's because here in the UK, Samsung gives some really good offers if you pre-order ahead of time. So first of all, you get a free storage upgrade. So instead of 128, I got 256 gigabytes. Also get a free case. This appears to be a silicone case. We'll definitely take a look at that. We also get a free anti-reflective screen protector, and I think most impressively, even get a Galaxy Watch 6. So I think if you are new to Samsung or upgrading from an older generation, offering all of these extra perks definitely makes it more appealing. And all I can say is Apple, take note. All right, let's unbox. So to start, let's go ahead and take a look at, of course, the phone itself, as that is most important. So here we go, very familiar black box here. Let's pull the tabs on the back. Now, I'm really excited to check out this phone. I've really been a big fan, actually, of the previous S23. And here we go. Let's take a look. And there it is. Wow, it looks so good. So it comes in a bunch of colors, actually. It comes in black and violet and also in gray, which is the color I have here. And this looks really clean. That's actually what kind of drew me to it in the first place. It's a little bit different from the typical white color, but still very light and I think super clean and minimalistic. And here you can see already those flat edges. That's one of the big design changes compared to last year's S23. We'll do a side-by-side comparison in a bit. But this here, people have said it looks just like the iPhone, and it kind of does, but I really like this design feature on the iPhone, so I'm happy to see it here on the S24. Just gives a really nice feel in the hand. You get those slightly rounded edges here, but still flat along the frame. I think that looks really, really clean. So let's see what else is included in the box. So like previous years, the unboxing experience is very similar. So here on the top, we will find what looks like. We have the SIM ejector tool. We have the paperwork, which includes quick start guide, warranty information, and a USB-C to USB-C cable for charging. Of course, no charge brick, but these days that is not something we can expect anymore, unfortunately. Now let's go ahead and take a closer look at the phone itself and do the peel. Beautiful. All right, let's boot it up and talk about what is new with this phone. Okay, so we're gonna watch the phone come to life here. I'm gonna put all this packaging off to the side and let's talk about what's new here. So the biggest features really come down to the AI features that Samsung have introduced with this phone. So there's a lot of things to talk about, but the biggest ones I look forward to most are Circle to Search, Live Translate. That one in particular really spoke to me when I saw the presentation. And you also get a bunch of note-taking as well as photo editing features. And this inclusion of AI to me really represents an interesting shift in smartphone software and operating systems, as I think smartphones for the past years, particularly when it comes to the software, it's always been very minor iterations where introducing AI does have the potential to bring big new features. And I'm really excited to see what companies will do with this new technology. And I think Samsung and also Google are really at the forefront here. So really excited to test these features on the S24. In terms of the display itself, it's actually a little bit bigger this year, going from 6.1 inches to 6.2 inches. And more importantly than that, it is also quite a bit brighter, now going up to 2600 nits, which is going to be super bright. So when you're outdoors or watching HDR content, that should really come through and make the display even better. It also has a still 120 hertz refresh rate. However, now it goes all the way down to 1 hertz, and this means that the display should also be more efficient. Speaking of efficient, so should the processor inside. So inside we now have the Snapdragon 8 Gen 3. Now this is of course just like the Gen 2, a processor that is specifically made for Samsung. And one of the things I really liked about the S23 compared to the S22 was that the S23 overall ran a lot more smooth. So you had a lot less jitters or app crashes. And I think a big part of that is the fact that the processor was actually optimized specifically for that phone. So very interesting to see. And I'm glad to see that the new Snapdragon 8 Gen 3 will also be optimized specifically for Samsung. So it should run really well on this phone. But of course, we have a lot to test. So be sure to subscribe to not miss my upcoming reviews as well as comparison videos. And here we go, the phone has now come to life. The display already looks good. We get that smooth refresh rate right off the bat. You can really see that. And it gives a lot of a very flat feel, not just on the front, but also the edges. And I like it. It gives a really clean, sharp, modern look, but at the same time, because you get those slightly curved edges around the corners here, it's still comfortable to hold in your hand where it doesn't dig into your palm. And this, I think, here is really crucial and makes a huge difference in the ergonomics and the general feel of the phone. Now, in terms of the specs, we also get 8 gigabytes of RAM, and we also have a slightly bigger battery. And when you combine that with the more efficient Snapdragon 8 Gen 3 processor, Samsung actually say you should get pretty substantial better battery life. So they quote 29 hours of video playback on the S24 versus 22 on the S23. So I'm definitely going to test this, but these numbers do sound promising. And then on the back, we still get a triple lens camera system. Now, the S23, I think, had a really capable camera system. And in terms of the hardware, not much has really changed. So the bigger differences will come in the AI features that the S24 adds. So that'll be primarily in photo editing. And I'm really curious to test these features. But let me know in the comments, are you going to be getting the S24? And if so, what is your favorite feature, or what do you look forward to most? And if you are enjoying this video so far, a like and a sub to the channel would be amazing. All right, so now I want to bring out the S23 and just do a quick first impression slash physical comparison between the two phones. I'm going to do a more in-depth comparison, so be sure to stay tuned for that. But for now, let's take a look at the dimensions. So the display on the S24 is a little bit bigger. So again, 0.1 inches bigger. So let's see if that's also reflected in the size of the phone. Holding the two side by side, I would say in terms of width, the S24 is actually a little bit more narrow and perhaps a little bit taller than the S23, but it's a very minor change, and I think that is in part due to the fact that we now have that flat frame as opposed to the curved frame that you get on the S23. So this is a big difference. Now, Samsung has had this sort of curved frame for many years. I think it's really a big part of their design language. So this is a big shift, but right away from a comfort perspective, and just again, based on my first impressions here, I think the S24 feels a little bit better. It does feel very much like an iPhone 15 would, again, because you have the same flat edge and then those curved edges, but it's really comfortable in the hand. It doesn't dig in the palm, and because the edges are straight, it does mean you get an overall more compact phone, and that is a huge plus. In terms of the weight, I would say they feel very similar, if not identical, but I'll be sure to put on the specs on screen here, but they feel very similar. And looking at the button placement, that too looks pretty much identical. So you have your power button and your volume button again as one. Over on the other side, we have nothing. And over on the bottom here, the layout looks very similar, except for the speaker grill, which is a little bit different here on the S24, USB-C port, SIM tray, and then on the top here, we now get 2 microphones on the S24 and 1 microphone on the S23. Still, we have the antenna bands. And the camera modules also very similar, so no big differences there. Actually, the flash is a little bit lower, it seems. As for the camera rings, one of the things I really like about Samsung's cameras is that they have that ring going around the lens, and this helps protect the lens from drops or surfaces. So glad to still see that here on the S24 as well. Now, I want to go back to all the free things that I got with this order, and let's take a look and see what that entails. So first, I want to take a look at this case. So this is a silicone case. I think it's great of Samsung to offer this for free, just to have something to start with, especially when you've just bought your new phone, or if you're pre-ordering, there may not be that many cases yet on the market. So to immediately have something, I think is a big advantage. And this here, it's interesting color. How would I describe this? You can see it's not, it's like the specks in the middle or on the back here. It is not black. I would say it is almost a very light purple. I kind of like it. I think it actually goes well with the gray color of the phone, kind of contrasting, but still being a little bit unique, a little bit different. This here is a silicone case, so you have a nice soft texture. As you can see, it's got this matte finish, and it's nice. I think with some silicone cases, what can happen is they're too sticky, and that makes it kind of difficult to take in and out of your pocket, or it will attract a lot of lint. I found with Samsung's cases, that is much less the case. So you still get some grip, but it's not as rubbery, I suppose. It's a little softer, and that does make it nicer to use. So we have these little specks of the plastic here going on the inside of the case, and I think this indicates that this is recycled plastic, or at least partially recycled. So let's go ahead and put it on the phone, see how that looks. Not bad, not bad. All right. I like you have some surface protection here on the display as well as on the cameras, I believe. Yes, those cameras are not going to be touching the surface. Again, great way to protect your lenses. Overall, not a bad case at all, especially just to get started with. Buttons remain clicky, still tactile. Port is easily accessible. Yeah, not a bad case at all. Then we also have the screen protector. Now, I'm going to leave this in the box as I typically don't use anti-reflective screen protectors. It is interesting of Samsung to see their choice to use an anti-reflective screen protector and not a typical tempered glass screen protector, as I do believe that this is plastic based on the fact that it folds, which means it won't be the most durable. But again, to start, it is hard to complain, especially if it's included here for free. So great to see this included as well. Again, this may not be everywhere in the world, but here in the UK, if you pre-order, that is the case. And then lastly, and I think most impressively, you get a free Galaxy Watch 6 with your order. Amazing. Imagine if you're like new to the Samsung ecosystem, or you just upgraded to get a watch for free. I think that really does make it more appealing to upgrade. So great of Samsung to have this offer. Just a quick unboxing experience here. We have the watch up here in the front. Interesting, there's no wrapping around the watch or anything. I guess that's more eco-friendly, but there's the watch itself. And then we have the black sports band as well. I still wouldn't consider the Galaxy Watch or any non-Apple Watch to be on the level of the Apple Watch, but of course, if you are a Samsung user, you can't use an Apple Watch, and in that case, the Galaxy Watch is a great way to still get those smartwatch features with your phone. So that gives you a look at my first impressions and the unboxing of the brand new Samsung Galaxy S24. I'm really excited to start using and testing this phone, and also comparing it to the S23, because I think last year, and now even more so, the S23 was a really good value phone that offered a lot of features for a good price. And now that the S24 is out, the price on the S23 has lowered by $100. So the question is, does the S24 deliver enough additional value and features to justify the increase in price? And that's exactly what I'm going to find out as I start using and testing this phone, as well as comparing them directly. I'm also going to be checking out the S24 Ultra, so be sure to subscribe to not miss my videos out on those. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. Let me know if you have any questions, or if there's anything in particular you'd like to see me test or cover for the S23. Let me know, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care.